Hey guys, this is Mistress Nightmare here, and we'll be reading another Jeff the Killer love story, written by the same person who wrote Insanity Love. I'll leave the description box in the story down below for you guys. But before we get started, I'll read the summary. Diana felt her heart sink to her stomach. There was no way she'd be able to escape. Now, who are you? The man smiled wickedly. The crazed look in his eyes returned once again. I'm hurt. How can you forget about me? Diana. Don't you remember? The crazed man's face neared the girl once again. His manic eyes locked with her nervous ones. He yanked her chin harshly, lessening the grip, making sure the girl gasped. He chuckled as moving his free hand and lifted the girl's chin, forcing her to look up at him. Don't you remember your old friend Jeff? Heavy pants of breath escaped the girl's mouth as she sped through the large maple door and into the luscious woods that gotten her in the situation in the first place. The blonde-haired girl seemed to be running in an endless loop around the tall trees that seemed to be sparse ending around her. Thick mass of pine trees, the smell of iron, scent of blood, but could be easily mistaken for blood that purposely covered her from head to toe. Her blue eyes darted from left to right, hoping to find an exit of some sort. If not, then at least a safe place to rest before continuing her desperate search for help. Luckily for her, she managed to find a cabin not too far from the place she escaped. She abruptly stopped a few feet from the cabin, curious about why would someone choose to live so far away from civilization and so close to the mansion of nightmares that are infested with killers. The cabin appeared to be was appealing to look at. The undermannered existence of walls that were crumpled by the weather. Most of the windows seemed to be broken. Only a few pieces of glass hung out in the corner. The door was covered with crates of wood that seemed to be indisposed because of the smudge of red that littered the door. The girl only hoped that the dots of red were paint, but after seeing the things that she's seen, it would not be surprised if the door was actually stained with the blood of the other victims. She would have believed that the cabin was abandoned, but the light shining inside told her otherwise. Taking a moment to catch her breath, the young girl quietly talked about how fortunate her situation was. It didn't make any sense. Why would someone choose to live so close to a house of killers? More importantly, why aren't they dead? The blonde hair flew aimlessly around into her face, causing her a gust of wind to burst through the woods. The girl tensed, feeling as stiff as a rock as she tried to calm down. It's just the wind. You probably haven't found out I was about my escape just yet. The 18-year-old closed her eyes, hoping to calm her nerves. Calm down, Diana. Be strong. Her blue irises opened, carefully inspecting the cabin, slowly making her way over to the cabin, not daring to breathe. After what felt like an hour, Diana was finally able to reach the old, worn-down door. Her small hand gripped tightly onto the door, not caring about the dirt or the blood that covered it. Okay, once I open this door, I'll find someone who can help. They will call for help, and I will be free. But something was keeping the girl from opening the door. It was because she was planning to waltz in uninvitingly, but instead of being polite and knocking, she was couldn't possibly care at the moment or in the situation she was in. This whole situation. It seemed so perfect, almost too perfect. Thump. 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 The girl immediately jumped away from the door, falling back on the ground. The door slammed open, revealing an old man with a rifle, and pointed at her. "Who are you?" The man spoke slowly as his words came out, soft-spoken and gentle. If he had been not pointing the gun at her, she would probably believe this man would probably help her. She believed that the gun was the only man's protection, help to protect himself against the neighbors, but the blood stain on the door gave her a reason to believe that it's to survive another purpose as well. "Please help me. My name is Diana River, and I'm a girl who was abducted in June. You have to help me, please." Diana was surprised how confident her voice sounded, especially when her heart was beating rapidly against her chest. Her heart was beating so hard that it felt like a rhythm of each thump throughout her body. Hopefully, the girl stared directly at the man's crystal blue eyes, as if the answer of her pleas was written itself down in his orbs. The man stared back at her, his gun still aiming at her head. Despite on whether or not he should let her in, he took his time to observe the area behind her, slowly scanning the massive trees left to right, if he's expecting someone to jump out and drag her away. The man sighed and lifted the rifle slightly, a patch of gray hair, before putting it inside it back in the cap. "Get your ass from the shitty ground and hurry inside. Who knows when the next one of them will be coming to collect you." Diana's heart stopped, and millisecond of thought crumbling around her brain, trying to solve the puzzle that handed before her time was up. She knew that she should be running by now, but her legs wouldn't budge. The fear struck once again. The small occurrence that confounded her was able to gather was now gone. "Well, what are you waiting for?" The man sneered down at the frozen girl. "He was not on my side. I chose wrong. He was going to come for me, and he knew where I was." The man let out a small grunt of annoyance as his eyes left her and looked towards the woods again, but this time he found exactly what he was looking for. The man let out a laugh, confusing the blonde-haired girl even more. She forced herself to look up at the man and away from the trail of ants that were entering and exiting through the door in front of her. She had thought that the man was laughing at the state of her confusion, but she looked up and stared directly behind her. It looks like you can take all the time you need. The fuckers come sooner than I expected. I guess you must be something very special, kiddo." The man gave the confused child a sickening smile, almost sickening that one of her abductors that carved on his face. The old man laughed, his laughter echoing through the girl's ears, tears hurling down her cheeks as she didn't exactly knew the reason. But once in a long time, she knew what was about to happen next. Her heart was beating inhumanly rate, her palms sweatier than by the minute, as she predicted. She felt the leathery feel of his hands on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. "I found you." Get away from her. Her golden irises seemed to focus themselves open as she thrashed around in her bed. "Maria, it's okay. It's just a bad dream. They can't hurt you." The soothing and calm voice of her sister was enough to get her to calm down. The little girl sobbed uncontrollably as she felt warm arms wrapped around her body, protecting her from the horrifying man that has been taking the lead role in most of her dreams. But she wasn't the one that needed to be protected. It felt so real, Maria said between her sobs. I hate these dreams. Why can't they leave me alone, Diana? The blonde-haired girl pulled away from her beloved sister and stared down into the sun. It seems that to be imprinted in the younger one's eyes. I'm sure these are nightmares of yours will end soon. You don't need to stress out about it. The younger one wanted so badly to believe her sister's words, but it didn't help. Those words have been repeating for her for a million times. She was worried for her sister, but she didn't want to tell her about her dreams. Her sister was already had a lot of stress about her finals coming up. Thank you, sis. I'll try not to think about them. Diana gave Marie a quick peck on the forehead. They're just dreams. Anyway, they are not real. Maria nodded and let Diana's words slip out her ears because she knew that these dreams have a meaning. Whenever she's like this or not, something about her dreams always seemed to come true. Sure, it could be like deja vu, but deja vu couldn't happen when every single dream you have, right? Diana made her way down the ladder of the bunk bed and returned to her black wooden desk, where she had been studying before being disturbed by her sister's cries. Is Dad home yet? Diana frowned at the question and checked her phone. It was for the 10th time that hour. I sent him a text about an hour ago, but he hasn't replied. He should be home by now, though. The room got silent as the temperature seemed to be decreasing. The sounds of a thick clock became more evident to their ears, but the silence soon broken when the pair felt clammy reaching into the girl's room. Hey guys, look what I made. An ear-splitting shout of excitement that came from Anthony's mouth made me want to duct tape his mouth shut forever. Diana, here. The 6-year-old ran towards Diana, almost tripping on the scattered books along the way. The teen smiled awkwardly as she held the most hideous drawing known to mankind. It's horribly disturbing to look at, Maria joked as her younger brother sent her a glare in her direction. Well, Anthony, I think it's original and beautiful in its own type of way, Diana said, hoping to avoid another fight between younger siblings. Thanks, Diana. Anthony flashed her a huge smile before facing to look at me. And no thanks for you because you are a big fat loser. Anthony ran out of the room giggling like the silly little child that he is. Maria leaned back down on her bed thinking over her dream. That dream couldn't be real. Couldn't come true if I didn't think about it logically. We don't live near any woods. We don't go camping either. So why would I ever come up with the woods or near one? Maybe this dream was really a dream. The golden-eyed girl smiled happily to herself as she came to the conclusion that the dream didn't mean anything at all. It couldn't. Unfortunately for her, the storm only grew closer and closer at each passing second. Unknowns of the crazy killers that had his eyes on the family for as long as her sister had been born. Hey guys, you guys made it to the end of the video. I'm happy to hear that. Before you watch the next few videos coming out soon. Please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. If anyone has any more creepypasta fanfictions, please leave it in the comments box below or commute in the community tab, since I'm currently looking for more creepypasta fanfictions out there to read to you guys. Until then, bye!